You're listening to the P.A.C.E Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
The views expressed by the individuals during this broadcast are their own opinions, and they may not be the same as those of their group or other organizations they may be involved with.
All medical advice during our broadcast is not a medical opinion and should be checked with your medical physician.
Oh yeah, baby, that's lovely.
Good morning, it's November the 14th, and welcome to Psychedelics and Cannabis Education and News. There's two of us today, are live here at paceradio.net. Good morning, Miss Cindy. How you doing?
I am, for the fact that I forgot that I was doing this today and I started getting ready 25 minutes ago, I'm awesome.
You're But you're ready. You're up.
Nothing like a 5-second shower and running into the studio. And
so, like, it's 11 o'clock where you are, and you just got, so, like, you're sleeping to, like, 10 o'clock? Your time.
Well, shortly after 10, yeah, but I have a reason. I'm still jet lagged.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I am allowed to sleep in until 10 o'clock because I'm still jet lagged. It's weird. I don't usually sleep in. My first day home, I walked in the door at like about 4 o'clock in the morning. I was in bed by 4:30 and I slept till 11:30. That's an average amount of sleep.
Yeah.
But it's weird waking up at 11:30.
Yeah, and then I imagine, like you say, there's that lag, from traveling.
Yeah, it's you're tired and you feel drug out and
yeah, like there's the normal time change that happened. I don't know if that happened while you were gone, but then like you flying from BC time to Atlantic time. Yeah,
4 hours.
4 hours, eh? Feel like you lose half a day somewhere.
Yeah. When you're heading out west, like when you're gaining those hours, it's like, or going back, it's different. Like I go out west and like there's no.
Would you arrive at the same time that you left?
Close though. It's funny.
You left at 1 o'clock. Say you left at 1 o'clock Nova Scotia time. Would you end up arriving there maybe at 1 o'clock?
No, it would be like in the afternoon, but it gets.
Yeah.
You're looking at 8 or 9 hours of traveling at least, and then but then you take 4 hours off that. So on paper, you're only traveling for like 4 hours. It's weird.
Yeah.
But when you come home, it's different. Like when you come back east, like that's when the jet lag hits. Like it's
right, and it's not a direct flight, right?
No, I have to stop, and I barely. My stops were like just enough time to get from one to the other. So, normally I have like 2 hours sitting in an airport, but I didn't this time, which was awesome.
Yeah, because you just sort of like feel like you're still traveling, like other than the fact you had to land and take off again.
Yeah. Run to the other side of the airport.
Yeah, that too, exactly.
Joys of traveling, but it was awesome. Yeah, like we had the conference out there, and Rob Laurier was there as one of the names that is very known on the cannabis side as well.
Yeah.
And he spoke. He was one of the speakers, and I ended up hanging out with him quite a bit. So he's a really nice guy, and a little bit different when you're just hanging out with him to when you're interviewing him, for sure.
Yeah, exactly. And I got to interview him at an event in Toronto. He was there speaking. I got to interview him. We're talking about about the sovereign cannabis. Going on BC and stuff. So, alrighty, you get on with today's news. Here we go.
Sure.
Headlines up.
Coming to us from Business of Cannabis. Canadian cannabis exports could soon be taxed up to 175% in Israel.
Who ever thought you would get tax on cannabis that big, which is a tariff, actually, is what they're being charged.
Whoever thought that we would be legally exporting it to Israel?
Yeah, exactly. Canadian medical cannabis exports in Israel, or imports in Israel could now face tariffs of up to 175% amid the latest escalation of dispute over allegations of product dumping. Now, in July, Business of Cannabis reported that Israel had come to a preliminary decision to tax Canadian cannabis imports after the Israeli Ministry of Economy launched an investigation into the market in January, following numerous complaints from local producers.
The publication of preliminary findings on July 10th reportedly found a significant importation of medical cannabis from Canada, with rates reaching up to 369%. It found that Canadian cannabis imports have been sold in Israel at prices lower than those in the country of origin. A practice known as overflow imports, causing a sharp drop in competing Israeli cannabis companies' revenues.
They could buy our cannabis over there cheaper than we could buy it here. Wow. As such, the ministry has opted to refrain from imposing immediate levies on Canadian imports and instead said it would wait until the final findings are published. Following a subsequent public comment period, this final report has now been published by the ministry.
According to StratCan, the commissioner initially recommended a floating levy or tariff of 63% for decibel, 74% for pure sun farms, and 112% for Organigram, and 369% for all other products. However, in a new 126-page final report publishing on November 10th, fees starting as low as 2% for decibel cannabis, 33% for village farms, which is pure sun farms, and 39% for Organigram and 77% for Tilray have been proposed. All other companies would face a levy of up to 175%.
Wow. Now, according to government data, Israel imported 78,394 kilograms of cannabis from 2020 to 2023, with 80% coming from Canada. However, domestic production has been on the rise, surpassing imports since 2021. And in 2023, Israel produced 51,750 kilograms of cannabis compared to 15,950 kilograms that was imported.
Interesting. Canadian cannabis companies have been relying on export sales to countries like Israel to command better prices and clear inventory backlogs. Despite higher export costs, producers often prefer to export the export market due to more favorable payment terms compared to selling domestically, where payments can take weeks or months. The Cannabis Council of Canada and other stakeholders have disputed the claim that Canadian producers sell at lower prices in Israel than in Canada. And the Ministry of Economy will submit its findings to the World Trade Organization, and a final ruling on the proposed levies is now pending.
There you go. Tariffs. Who would have thought we've been talking about tariffs on cannabis? Yeah.
Who thought we would be talking about legally exporting our cannabis to other countries? Like, I mean, the teenager in me, like the 14-year-old that smoked her first joint, is going, huh? Like, it's just crazy. Like, you know, like I'm really glad that this is happening in my lifetime, and that, you know, after the fight that, you know, every cannabis, you know, person has had, it's really cool to see this happening in our lifetime. I mean, with as many mistakes as the government might be making in it, it's still very freaking cool to see legalization and exporting to other countries.
Timmy and I talked about that a bit last night on the P.A.C.E radio show, and the fact that, you know, with alcohol, when alcohol was illegal and then they legalized it, like we weren't even born or even thought about back then. But now we've been able to see it on both sides. You know, we lived through the illegal end of things, and now we've watched it switch over to the legal end of things, and there's more work to be done. That's what you can say.
Yeah, we're not done yet, but it's really cool to be part of this piece of history.
Yeah. All righty, on to the next story.
Coming to us from International Cannabis Business Conference, the UK study finds cannabis provides sustained improvements in PTSD patients.
There you go. Global researchers estimate that nearly 4% of the planet's total population suffers from some form of post-traumatic stress disorder. It is one of the most common mental health conditions around the world. Common treatments for PTSD include different types of trauma-focused psychotherapy, as well as pharmaceutical medications. Many other pharmaceutical medications used to treat PTSD can yield undesirable side effects.
Yeah. A recent study conducted in the United Kingdom examined medical cannabis therapies and PTSD. And below is more information about the study and its results coming from Normal. Patients with post-traumatic stress report symptom improvements following their use of cannabis, according to observational data published in the Journal of Medical Cannabis and Cannabinoids.
British researchers assessed the use of THC-dominant cannabis flower in 58 patients with PTSD. And it says here in brackets, since 2018, British specialists have been permitted to prescribe either cannabis or cannabis-based medical products. Okay. Researchers assessed changes in patient-reported outcomes measures at 3 months and at 6 months. Participants, on average, obtained a 16.8-point reduction in their symptom severity scores following 6 months of cannabis treatment. Patients also reported significant enhancements in general health, mood, and sleep quality.
The study's authors concluded results from this observational study suggest an association between treatment with THC-predominant cannabis flowers and symptomatic improvement for up to 6 months in a cohort of UK civilians diagnosed with PTSD. The treatment was safe and well tolerated and characterized by marked effects on quality of sleep, general mood, and severity of PTSD-associated symptoms. However, further research is needed to evaluate the long-term safety and outcome of controlled inhalation of CBMP in patients naive to cannabis. Other observational
Go ahead.
Okay, other observational studies assessing. Did I go too far? The use of cannabis product in patients enrolled in the UK Medical Cannabis Registry have reported them to be effective for those studies from chronic pain, anxiety, fibromyalgia, depression, migraine, multiple sclerosis, osteoarthritis, inflammatory arthritis, and inflammatory bowel disease.
There you go. Yep.
Yeah.
Good to see studies. They always say there's not enough studies. So we just
I like that study. That's a good study for PTSD. I mean, they also, tip their hats to like the fact that cannabis is good for other things too.
Correct. Exactly. All righty. On we go. Next story. It's up.
Coming to us from cannabis.net. I kind of like the headline. Tripping golf balls. Can magic mushrooms help your golf game? Pro golfers try psychedelics for focus and anxiety.
What do you think? Before we get into it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's going to help.
Okay. All right.
I think.
All right, here we go. An intriguing trend has emerged in recent years within the world of professional golf. A growing number of elite golfers are turning to psychedelics as a means to enhance focus and alleviate anxiety. This shift reflects a broader cultural acceptance of psychedelics, which were once stigmatized but are now being recognized for their potential therapeutic benefits. As mental health becomes an increasingly vital aspect of athletic performance, many golfers are exploring alternative methods to improve their game, leading to a fascinating intersection of sports, science, and personal well-being. Golf is often described as a game of inches, where the slightest miscalculation can lead to significant consequences. Beyond the physical skill, mental fortitude plays a crucial role in a golfer's success. The pressure to perform at the highest level can lead to anxiety, stress, and even burnout. For many professionals, maintaining focus during high-stakes tournaments is as challenging as mastering their swing.
I think that's kind of funny because people go to play golf to relax.
Yeah. But, you look at it, when you watch it on TV, there's big crowds around them.
Yeah,
and maybe that's the pressure. That's the anxiety.
Professional golf is definitely riddled with a lot of pressure for sure.
Yeah.
Traditionally, golfers have relied on various strategies to manage their mental game, including visualization techniques, meditation, and mindfulness practices. However, as the stigma surrounding psychedelics begins to fade and research into their benefits expands, some players are seeking new avenues for enhancing their mental resilience. The interest in psychedelics among athletes is not limited to golf. Across various sports, athletes are increasingly experimenting with substances such as psilocybin, the active compound of magic mushrooms, LSD, and ayahuasca, a traditional Amazon brew, for their psychological benefits. The substances are believed to promote neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to reorganize itself by forming new neural connections, potentially leading to improved focus and emotional well-being.
Recent studies have shown that psychedelics can help treat conditions such as depression, anxiety, and PTSD. For athletes facing intense pressure and scrutiny, these benefits can be particularly appealing. In golf, where the mental aspect is paramount, the idea of using psychedelics as a tool for enhancing performance is gaining traction. While scientific research on the use of psychedelics in sports is still in its infancy, anecdotal evidence from professional golfers suggests that these substances can have a profound impact on performance. One PGA Tour player who chose to remain anonymous due to the stigma surrounding drug use in sports shared his experience with microdosing psilocybin. He reported that small doses helped him achieve a heightened state of awareness during competitions.
I found that microdosing allowed me to approach each shot with more clarity, he explained. Instead of getting caught up in my thoughts or worrying about the outcome, I could focus on the process. It was like flipping a switch. Similarly, DJ Trahan, a two-time PGA Golf Tour winner, has been open about his struggles with anxiety and depression after experiencing personal challenges that affected his performance on the course. Trahan turned to psychedelics as part of his healing journey. He credits these substances with helping him reconnect with his passion for golf and regain his competitive edge.
In an interview, he says, psychedelics helped me see things differently. They allowed me to break free from negative thought patterns that were holding me back. Now I feel more present on the course than ever before. Now, the burgeoning interest in psychedelics among athletes has sparked renewed research into their therapeutic potential. Studies conducted by institutions like Johns Hopkins University and Imperial College in London have demonstrated that psychedelics can lead to significant reduction in anxiety and depression among participants.
One landmark study published in JAMA Psychiatry found that psilocybin therapy resulted in substantial improvements in mood and anxiety among cancer patients facing existential distress. These findings have implications not just for mental health treatment, but also for high-pressure environments like professional sports. Researchers are investigating how psychedelics affect brain function and emotional regulation. Preliminary findings suggest that these substances may enhance creativity and problem-solving abilities, traits that could be invaluable for golfers navigating complex courses under pressure.
Yeah, the growing acceptance of psychedelics is part of a broader culture shift towards holistic wellness approaches. As mental health awareness increases globally, more individuals are seeking alternative therapies beyond conventional pharmaceuticals. This movement has been particularly pronounced among younger generations who prioritize mental well-being alongside physical health. In professional sports, this cultural shift is evident as organizations begin to recognize the importance of mental health resources for athletes. Teams across various leagues are implementing programs focused on mindfulness, training, and psychological support. As part of this evolution, psychedelics are emerging as a potential tool for enhancing mental performance.
The increasing interest in psychedelics among professional athletes, particularly golfers, raises several ethical considerations and regulatory challenges that need to be addressed. Below are the key points outlining these issues. One of them is stigma and perception. Athletes may face stigma for using psychedelics, which are often associated with counterculture rather than legitimate medical therapies. This stigma can discourage open discussions about mental health and alternative treatments.
Informed consent. Athletes must be fully informed about the potential risks and benefits of using psychedelics. The ethical principle of informed consent is crucial, as athletes should understand how these substances may affect their performance and mental health. Equity and fairness. The use of psychedelics raises questions about fairness and competition. If some athletes use these substances to enhance mental clarity and reduce anxiety, it could create an uneven playing field, challenging the integrity of sports. I was wondering if that was going to come up. Yeah.
Yeah. Medical ethics. Physicians involved in prescribing or recommending psychedelics face ethical dilemmas regarding their duty to do no harm. The long-term effects of psychedelics on healthy individuals are not fully understood, raising concerns about potential negative health impacts. Pressure to conform. Athletes may feel pressured to use psychedelics to keep up with peers or improve performance, which could lead to coercion rather than voluntary choice. This undermines the autonomy of athletes in making personal health decisions.
Now, as far as regulatory challenges, they said anti-doping regulations is a concern. Many sports leagues, including the NFL and NBA, have strict anti-doping policies that clarify certain psychedelics as banned substances. This complicates the legal use of psychedelics for therapeutic purposes. There's also the concern of lack of clear guidelines. The World Anti-Doping Agency does not have comprehensive guidelines regarding the use of psychedelics, creating ambiguity for athletes considering these options. Some substances remain unregulated, while others are explicitly banned. Yeah, there's not going to be any guidelines on the, because this is just all coming to bubbling to the surface now, right? So it's just like cannabis. There's no, we're still working on that too. So
absolutely. There's a need for research. There is a lack of extensive clinical research on the effects of psychedelics, specifically in athletic populations. More studies are needed to understand the implications for performance and mental health before regulatory bodies can make informed decisions. Cultural resistance. Many sports organizations are hesitant to embrace psychedelic research due to traditional views on drug use in sports. The cultural resistance can hinder progress towards integrating psychedelics into mental health treatment protocols for athletes.
Legal status variability. The legal status of psychedelics varies widely by region, complicating their potential use in professional sports. Some states or countries have begun to legalize certain substances, but this patchwork of laws creates confusion for athletes traveling internationally. Now, as more golfers explore the potential benefits of psychedelics for focus enhancement and anxiety relief, it raises questions about what the future holds for mental health practices in sports. Will we see a shift towards greater acceptance of alternative therapies? Could we witness changes in doping regulations as research continues to validate the therapeutic use of these substances?
The landscape of professional golf and sports at large may be on the brink of transformation as athletes seek innovative ways to optimize their performance while prioritizing their mental health. The trend of professional golfers turning to psychedelics for focus boosts and anxiety relief represents a significant shift from traditional mental wellness approach in sports, highlighting the need for further exploration as anecdotal evidence and emerging research point to the therapeutic potential. Despite existing challenges related to regulations and societal perceptions, there is optimism that ongoing discussions about mental health will encourage greater acceptance of holistic methods within athletes. As golfers confront the complexities of competition on and off the course, psychedelics may prove to be valuable allies, offering clarity amidst chaos and enhancing resilience in demanding sports. As we advance into this new era of understanding regarding mental health and performance enhancement through psychedelics, it is clear that the conversation surrounding these substances is just beginning, with implications that could transform not only athletes' approach to their craft, but also society's overall perception on wellness.
There you go.
Yeah, good story.
Yeah. There's actually, I had a story on Tuesday on the Three High Guys because I do some sports coverage there, and there was an article of a MMA fighter who used psychedelics, and he actually used psychedelics during one of his fights. Of course, he didn't say that until afterwards, until I was all over and done with, and he was out of the way. But yeah. So, alrighty, on to the last story before we go to break, and it is
coming to us from Technical Networks Biopharma. Approval of psychedelic therapies could benefit over 5 million Americans.
That's a lot of Americans could use some help. There's no doubt with that. Agriculture, acupuncture, let's get that right. Ketamine infusions, electroshock, or electroconvulsion therapy. The existing treatment options for those diagnosed with major depressive disorder and treatment-resistant depression may sometimes feel daunting or expensive alternatives to medication. However, a groundbreaking study from Emory University demonstrates how psilocybin-assisted therapy could impact more than 5 million people in the U.S. pending approval from the FDA. The findings highlight both the national need for therapies featuring psilocybin, the active ingredient in the mushrooms, as well as the considerations that elected officials, insurance companies, and public health agencies would need to be aware of to successfully roll out access to psilocybin-assisted therapy.
In the study, researchers used national data from existing pool of people being treated for MDD and TRD and applied exclusionary criteria based on comorbidities such as mania, heart failure, and diabetes to rule out those who would be medically ineligible for the therapy. These findings indicate that anywhere from 56 to 62% of the individuals being treated for MDD or TRD, which is roughly 5.1 to 5.6 million people, would be eligible for psilocybin-assisted therapy and could benefit from it. This information is significant because much of the current focus on psychedelic therapies is about its efficacy with clinical trials, and very few people are studying what would be the broader implications of implementing those novel therapeutics. And this is coming to us from Faizan Rab, who is the lead author of the study and MD candidate at Emory University School of Medicine. Our study is one of the first to look at the bigger public health and economic consequences of a world where psilocybin therapy is made more available to Americans.
According to Rab, psilocybin-assisted treatment currently has a breakthrough designation with the FDA, meaning that it will expedite a review of the phase 3 clinical trial results because of its potential as a therapeutic for depression. Now, according to what Fab says, he says here that what is really timely about this research is that it provides a data-driven number that is interpreted to the FDA. This is how many Americans we think are at stake. I think that will be a meaningful estimate for the FDA to weigh when they consider whether to approve psilocybin for therapeutic use.
If approved, private and public insurers such as Centers for Medicine and Medicaid services will shape both the demand and the availability of psychedelic therapy. According to the study, almost 20% of the 85 million Medicaid beneficiaries, or 17 million people, are likely to have clinical depression. Therefore, the conditions under which Medicaid might or might not reimburse for psilocybin-assisted therapy will determine the demand. An additional prominent attribution to the study is that it is supported by Emory University's Center for Psychedelics and Spirituality, which integrates clinical and research-backed expertise in psychiatry and spiritual health to better understand the therapeutic value of psychedelic medicines.
George Grant, co-director of the ECPS, emphasizes that the public health forecast in Rab's study provides policymakers with an idea of the economic impact, as well as if the treatment will meet the needs of the underserved. Now, Grant says, coming to the aid of people who are suffering is very important, and psilocybin-assisted therapy could help people arrive to a place of satisfaction within themselves so that their lives achieve optimal meaning and purpose.
Yeah, regarding the economic impact of the healthcare system, Grant adds, psychedelic medicines have promise because the intervention is so fast-acting, whereas right now, insurance providers and payers often need to fund the use of antidepressants throughout their lives. Grant is referring to past clinical trials studying the efficacy of psilocybin, which indicate that just one singular 25 milligram dose of psilocybin is often enough to reduce symptoms of depression, potentially decreasing the financial burden on insurance payers currently funding interventions. And now when they say a 25 milligram dose, they're talking about the actual psilocin that's extracted from the psilocybin. So that's the equivalent to 5 grams.
Oh, 5. It's equivalent
of dried full mushrooms. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Now, Rab says that I am glad to be supported by the Center for Psychedelics and Spirituality, which is an academic environment, providing an objective third-party perspective to policymakers, the FDA, and public service agencies. Says, I am really hopeful that continued research in the area of psychedelic medicine and therapeutics could benefit the millions of Americans that might qualify for it.
Absolutely.
So there you go. There you
Amazing.
go. Good news. More good news. All righty. That's that. That shuts that down. And it's time for us to take a break. All right. Cindy and I are going to go medicate. And you guys can watch our sponsors, find out who's supporting us. And other than that, you're watching Psychedelics Cannabis Educational News. We're live here at PACEradio.net.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at PACEradio.net.
Campbellford Lifestyle Shop, open Monday to Friday from 10 till 7 p.m. or by chance. Check out our flags, our t-shirts, plus our hats, and look of that supply of rolling papers, plus much more. We've got bongs and your favorite herbal vaporizers. Look at all the incense we have, as well as for those who collect knives, check out these knives in our collection. And while you're here, stop in to see Shay at the piercing room, where you can get poked by Shay. Daily deals, check them out. Campbellford Lifestyle Shop, 17 Bridge Street West, Campbellford, Ontario.
When you have a pain that's reached its peak, Legacy for 20, it's so unique. If organic cannabis is what you seek, here's your trusted partners 7 days a week. Suppository salves, vapes and drops, topicals, edibles, infused pop. Just when life seems like it ain't easy, at Legacy 420, enjoy a pop freezy. Lab tested products, make them the GOAT. Legacy 420 out on your road. Legacy 420 in Tyndonega Mohawk territory. Indigenous organic cannabis at its finest.
What do you find at PACEradio.net? People advocating cannabis education.
Limestone City Hydroponics is Kingston, Ontario's hydroponics shop. Take your growing to the next level and create the optimal environment with a tent kit, or maximize your yield with an ebb and flow flood table kit. Either way, Limestone City Hydroponics has more sizes and options to fit your needs. Are you looking for the power of the sun that adapts to your budget? Then look no further, as they have professional grow lighting. They have indoor grow systems that are easy and cost effective, with many options to fit your living space and lifestyle. Cultivate your growing potential. We have everything you need to succeed. And if you can't make it to the store, they offer local delivery to the greater Kingston area. Remember, when you're looking for experts to help you grow, then look no further than the locally owned Limestone City Hydroponics, 105 Sunderland Drive in Kingston, Ontario. Call them at 613-548-0420. Are you looking for non-stop, continuous cannabis and psychedelic programming? If you are, then turn your browsers to 420radio.ca or PACEradio.net, where you will find the 420 Pace re-rolled Saturday. Everything gets started at 8 a.m. Eastern Saturday morning.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at PACEradio.net.
Hey, we're back from our break and ready to bring in. We got 4 more stories to go here. And we're going to start off where we left off, and that's dealing with the psychedelic end of things as soon as Al gets the story up, because Al didn't do that during the break. He was
Al had 3 minutes to get the story up during the break, and are we good?
Good. There you go. It's up.
Coming to us from Earth.com.
It's coming. I can see it working its way.
It is. Psilocybin shows promise for treating anorexia.
Nice. Okay. Psilocybin, a compound that at the forefront of psychedelic research, has sparked a new hope in perennial quest for an effective cure for psychiatric ailments, particularly anorexia nervosa. Now, a clinical trial conducted by researchers at the University of California, San Diego, highlights how this compound could potentially revolutionize treatments, methods, and research and improve clinical outcomes.
Anorexia nervosa is a psychiatric disorder that has resisted conventional treatments and currently has no effective medications approved by the U.S. Food and Drug Administration. It is also the psychiatric illness that holds the record for having the highest mortality rate. The UCSD research explores the effect of psilocybin treatment on this condition and provides a firsthand account of its consequences.
Now, according to Dr. Stephanie Natz-Peck, who's the lead author of the study, she says that our findings suggest that psilocybin may be helpful in supporting meaningful psychological change in subset of people with anorexia nervosa. What's particularly interesting is that 60% of participants reported a reduction in the importance of physical appearance, while 70% noted quality of life improvements and shifts in personal identity.
That's amazing. The clinical trial revealed some fascinating outcomes. An overwhelming 90% of participants described their psilocybin session as one of the top 5 most meaningful experiences of their lives. Additionally, 40% of the subjects showed clinical significant reductions in eating disorder psychotherapy.
However, despite these positive results, the study notes that improvements in psychological outlook did not necessarily translate to weight restoration. Furthermore, psilocybin treatment appeared to work very effectively for some individuals, while others showed minimal improvements. I think that's probably like a lot of medicine.
Absolutely. These discrepancies highlight the need for further research, particularly into how genetic variations in serotonin receptors might influence treatment outcomes. The impact of this treatment transcends the scientific data and filters into the personal lives of the subjects.
As one participant shared, you are able to act in a way that maybe had felt unachievable before if you set the right intentions. Another participant echoed similar sentiments, stating, things might not look that different from the outside, but they feel completely different from the inside.
Yeah. The study employed a single 25 milligram dose of psilocybin alongside specialized psychological support before, during, and after administration. And despite showcasing potential, the result also highlights the intricacy of treating anorexia nervosa and suggests a synergistic approach might be the most effective.
Now, Dr. Walter Kay, the study's senior author and UCSD's Eating Disorders Treatment Center director, maintains that while the findings are promising, they need to be backed by larger, well-controlled studies. This includes the use of brain imaging and genetic analysis to ascertain who might benefit most from this innovative treatment approach.
The fascinating findings of the clinical trial initiated new trajectories for personalized medicine for eating disorders. However, it has also sparked a flurry of questions around optimizing therapeutic protocols for this vulnerable demographic. And surely, it's a profound addition to the current discourse around non-traditional treatment methods.
The promise of psilocybin as a treatment for anorexia nervosa comes with its shape of challenges. One major concern is ensuring that the therapy takes place in a safe, supportive environment. Psychedelic experiences can be intense and unpredictable, making it crucial to have professional guidance in place to support patients before, during, and after treatment.
Yeah, this guidance helps maximize the benefits while minimizing any potential risks or adverse reactions. There are also questions about how psilocybin therapy could fit into existing treatment plans. Researchers are looking at how it might complement traditional methods like cognitive behavioral therapy to boost long-term recovery.
As more studies are conducted, it will be vital to address these challenges and questions. Only then can psilocybin potentially become a reliable, safe, and effective treatment option for those battling the complexities of anorexia. The journey forward is one of through research, careful observation, and continued exportation to bring the best possible outcome to patients who need it the most.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, patients need it the most. Let's get, let's deal with that. Get it out there. Get the studies done. Just,
Help people.
just seems to take so long sometimes. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, exactly. It's just, as people that are out there suffering, we just had somebody in the cannabis community pass a few days ago, but, just dealing with, yeah. And maybe this might have been a benefit to him. So.
Yep.
All right. Next story is up.
Coming to us from StratCan, Kawanaki Cannabis Control Board issues its first micro-cannabis production license.
The Kawanaki Cannabis Control Board has issued the first micro-cannabis production license, a business called MSJ Cultivation. The Mohawk Council of Kawanaki has spent several years creating its own licensing program for cannabis production and retail. The new micro license was issued by MCK on November the 8th and expires in 5 years. This is the second license the agency has issued. The first was for a standard cultivation and processing license. A name of that first license holder was not available, they say.
The micro-cultivation license authorizes MSJ to cultivate, process, and test cannabis, as well as sell cannabis to holders of valid distribution license or export from the territory to a licensed processor or retailer in another jurisdiction. Only a distribution license holder is authorized to distribute cannabis products with Kawanaki territory or within Kawanaki territory to a retail dispensary license holder. The board has said they will only issue one such distribution license. The business also has a micro-cultivation license from Health Canada, which is one of MCK's licensing requirements for producers. In 2021, the banned agency announced memorandum with Health Canada in relation to their cannabis production regulations. The process was years in the making. Antonia Perron, who has led the cannabis file for the MCK for several years, explained to StratCan at the time.
The Kawanaki Legislative Commission posted its retail cannabis regulations in December of 2023 and its production regulations in 2021. Comments on the community's Facebook page regarding the announcement showed an array of opinions on the licensing process and the presence of cannabis in the community. The territory's cannabis regulations essentially mirror Health Canada's production regulations while affirming the board's jurisdictional authority within their community. The community has no such relationship with Quebec's provincial retail licensing authority. The Kawanaki Mohawk Territory is a First Nations reserve of the Mohawks of Kawanaki, located on the south shore of St. Lawrence River in Quebec.
In October, the Kawanaki Cannabis Control Board also posted a notice of 6 cannabis retailers that submitted applications for a retail license, which are currently under review. In her conversation with StratCan in 2021, Perron said the process of creating such regulations has been one of balancing the interests of those who want to operate in the industry with those who have concerns about the impacts of cannabis on the community.
Now, Perron says it's a fine line to walk between all of those different opinions, but that's what makes our community so beautiful and so unique. People come from different places in the way that they think, but one thing that's for sure is that everybody in the community definitely states that it's up to us to decide what needs to be done here and not for anybody else to tell us what should be done here. Earlier this month, MCK chiefs voted against having a new community-wide referendum on cannabis after the topic was raised at the council meeting last week.
Kawanaki is not the only community to issue cannabis licenses. The Okanagan Indian Board in British Columbia recently issued at least 3 retail cannabis licenses, 2 to Timex Wellness Incorporated and 1 to Nature's Own Cannabis.
There you go. Yeah, I didn't know that that they had, there was a place where First Nations actually set everything up like that, where you had to apply, get your permits, just as if they're applying to Health Canada.
Yep.
So,
yeah, and apparently you have to be approved by Health Canada to even apply.
Yeah, exactly. That's okay. So, alrighty, on to our next story.
Which is coming to us from Ganjapreneur. Arizona company awarded patent for child-resistant paper tubes for cannabis packaging.
Huh? We'll find out more about this. Arizona company At-Eze has been granted a patent in the U.S. for a child-resistant, biodegradable paper tube for packaging cannabis. In a press release, the company said the product was created with the need to provide operators substantial solutions with environmental friendly products or materials and child-resistant therapy. In a statement, John Hartzell, co-founder of At-Eze, said securing the patent is a testament to the creativity and technical experience we foster at At-Eze. The company notes that the product was conceived in 2022, designed in-house by team members Charlie Danes and A.G. Keller.
As the regulatory landscape evolves, we are committed to delivering cutting-edge products that not only meet the highest compliance standards, but also reduce our industry's environmental footprint. This paper tube is just the first in a line of many patented designs we plan to bring to the market. And this is Hartzell, and this is what he said in a statement. According to a report from the Sustainable Cannabis Coalition, the U.S. cannabis industry used nearly 1 billion pieces of single-use plastic in 2020, much of which ended up in landfills. So At-Eze's paper tube package in the U.S. patent number is right there, and you can go take a look at it if you want.
So I wish there was a picture. Like,
are these not up here? Is like the picture that's up top? These are not it.
Oh, I closed it.
Those look plastic. I don't know.
You want to bring the picture up? Bring it back up. You got it there. You can share the screen.
I can share the screen and show you all.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking. Go through. So, what exactly is this paper tube?
Would that be it? That's the picture on the story, right?
Yeah. I'm just gonna blow it up here so I can see. To me, they just like containers holding cannabis.
Yeah, it looks like a plastic container for.
But maybe it's paper instead. Yeah.
Interesting.
Okay. Yeah. When I first seen the headline, I thought, "Oh, is that for like joints and stuff like this? What's going on?" Because I never read the story until now, right? So, because I think of paper tubes, I'm thinking of coners, right? not of storing, or shipping, right? Or yeah.
I mean, it looks like it's that, right? But this is plastic.
Exactly. That's plastic. So maybe it's a paper version of that with the child-proof lid on it. But then couldn't they just rip the package open if it's just paper?
Yeah.
I want they've had to have done something to prevent that, or they wouldn't have,
there's something
having a safety-proof container. You have a safety-proof lid, but the rest of it is accessible. So it's got to be more to it. So, all right, last story of the day is up.
Oh, and this one is coming to us from Green State Field. And this is one cannabis product dominated Election Day.
What do you think? What do you think it was?
I don't know.
Election Day had many Americans gathering for watch parties or pacing their homes, awaiting presidential race results. Stressed people sometimes turn to comforting food, watch distracting movies, crack open a beer, or enjoy cannabinoids. Headset data indicated that product sales jumped in almost every category on November the 5th. Many turned to cannabis drinks over other product factors on Election Day, proving the long-standing claim that they are the next big thing in weed. The drinks of all things.
The drinks, yeah. Seattle-based data company Headset tracks and analyzes the cannabis industry. The company recorded customer information in 15 adult use states on election day, finding an overall 5.6% spike in sales. Every product factor except for capsules and topicals saw an increased interest. Tincture sales rose almost 3%. Flour went up 4%. Vape pens saw sales grew 5.5%. Pre-rolls were next, showing an uptick of 6.5%. Concentrate and edible sales both increased a bit over 8%.
The top chosen election day cannabis product was cannabis drinks, a somewhat surprising data set, as flower often dominates as a top choice. Headset analyst Mitchell LaFira shared with MJ Biz Daily that drinks account for about 1 to 2% of sales on a usual dispensary day. Wonder if people were drinking it just thinking more like, used to drinking a beer, sitting around watching a game or something.
Maybe.
Now on election day, the beverage category was chosen 14% more than the average weekday. This is not new in countrywide holidays. Headset noted that beverages ranked as number one choice on 420, the 4th of July, and Labor Day last year. Oh.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Analysts and trend predictors have long pointed to drinks as a Trojan horse to the coveted canna-curious consumer. Hemp THC drinks grace the shelves of big box stores, and online retailers ship them nationwide. The infused refreshments have never been more available. Still, the category remains a straggler in the usual day-to-day dispensary sales. This data not only indicates that drinks may be most attractive to the canna-curious, it also shows that they often save the purchase for holidays. As a wall of stigma breaks down and accessibility reaches an all-time high, more people are switching from booze to cannabis drinks. This comes out in full force on special occasions like Election Day, where drinks reign supreme.
Yeah. There you go.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah. Yeah. I know. First thing when I read the headline, I went, well, okay, that would be flour, but obviously it's not. Drinks, yeah.
I was going to say pre-rolls.
Yeah. Well, the drinks, it's a non-smoking alternative way, and it's and it's that too is sort of maybe like a habit. People sitting around if there was watch parties.
Yeah, and if they're used to sitting there with a beer and they don't drink anymore, now they can open up their cannabis drink and cheers with their friends who are drinking beer. Yeah. Who
knows? All right. Anything else offhand?
I don't think so. I think that's it.
No.
We did our stories in beautiful time. I'm really proud of us.
Yeah, we got done before the hour was up. All right. Okay, from the Legacy420.com news desk, that's our P.A.C.E news report for November the 14th. Thanks to our buds at Campbellford Lifestyle Shop, Legacy420.com, as well as Limestone Hydroponics.ca and At-Eze.ca. In closing, I'd like to say thank you for watching, and please don't forget to educate, medicate, and do not incarcerate. See you Monday. Bye-bye.
You're listening to the P.A.C.E Radio Network here at PACERadio.net.
The opinions of the individuals during this broadcast are their own, and may not be the opinions of their group or other organizations they may be involved with. All medical advice during our broadcast is not a medical opinion and should be checked with your medical physician.
When you have a pain that's reached its peak, Legacy for 20, it's so unique. If organic cannabis is what you seek, here's your trusted partner 7 days a week. Suppository salves, vapes and drops, topicals, edibles, infused pop. Just when life seems like it ain't easy, at Legacy 420, enjoy a pop freezy. Lab tested products, make them the GOAT. Legacy 420 out on your road. Legacy 420 in Tyndonega Mohawk territory. Indigenous organic cannabis at its finest.
Enjoy the buzz of legalization with Campbellford Lifestyle Shop. From lights to plant nutrients, books, consumption accessories, and more, we've got all your basics to grow or consume cannabis. Visit our info center or take a look at our piercing services and body jewelry, now available in-store through Campbellford Lifestyle Shop, 17 Bridge Street West, Campbellford.
Limestone City Hydroponics is Kingston, Ontario's hydroponics shop. Take your growing to the next level and create the optimal environment with a tent kit, or maximize your yield with an ebb and flow flood table kit. Either way, Limestone City Hydroponics has more sizes and options to fit your needs. Are you looking for the power of the sun that adapts to your budget? Then look no further, as they have professional grow lighting. They have indoor grow systems that are easy and cost effective, with many options to fit your living space and lifestyle. Cultivate your growing potential. We have everything you need to succeed. And if you can't make it to the store, they offer local delivery to the greater Kingston area. Remember, when you're looking for experts to help you grow, then look no further than the locally owned Limestone City Hydroponics, 105 Sunderland Drive in Kingston, Ontario. Call them at 613-548-0420.
We are people advocating cannabis education here at PACEradio.net.